Now today, Occupy Austin people here in town had a demonstration down at the city council, and reporter Darren McBreen found that many of them also embraced the End the Federal Reserve message, the Occupy the Fed. Let's check out that footage now.
We're here in front of City Hall in Austin, Texas, where Occupy Wall Street protesters have gathered here to occupy Austin. Now, these demonstrations have quickly spread across the country. They're growing larger in scale and emerging internationally. Meanwhile, the ruling elite have been hard at work in their attempt to co-opt the movement by sending in their usual suspects to divert the impact of the Occupy Wall Street protest away from the real cause of our economic fallout, the Federal Reserve.
I think we should focus on ending the Fed, because that's really who's enabling the crooks on Wall Street to get away with the money.
It's a private corporation. It's subject to absolutely no regulation, no oversight, and no representation.
It's what allows the machine to go forward, right? It's what feeds government, and it impoverishes the people.
They are a for-profit group of bankers, not a part of the federal government, as the deceptive name federal suggests.
That's why they want to keep us stupid. Federal Reserve is a very complicated thing, so let the politicians worry about it. You simple people don't worry about it. We got everything taken care of. That's their message.
I'm against the Federal Reserve because I don't want them to print worthless money. We need to go back to a standard where our money stands for something, like it stands for actual goods like gold and silver.
They're giving bailouts to Wall Street, to foreign banks, to foreign corporations, and if you look at Obama's appointments, Federal Reserve Chairman Ben Bernanke, Treasury Secretary Timothy Geithner, these guys engineered the financial collapse in the year 2008, and they should not be in charge. And we need to start standing up and showing them that the real message here is not just in Wall Street, in the Fed.
This morning, President Obama in a press conference said that he sympathized with the Occupy Wall Street protesters. Now, is it a gimmick? Is he just blowing smoke up our ass?
President Soetoro, Obama? Yeah, it's a gimmick. The banksters of Wall Street and the Federal Reserve got him into office. So how can he be against the people that put him into office? It doesn't make any sense. So yeah, it's a gimmick.
Where do you think President Obama stands on this? Do you think he's with the Occupy Wall Street protesters?
I think that he understands that there's a huge issue we have. He came into office with a lot of problems already under his belt, and then the way that it's been handled since he's been in office has not really been the best way possible.
Where do you think President Obama stands as far as the Occupy Wall Street protest across the country?
I think he's scared shitless.
He appointed Ben Bernanke from Lehman Brothers or Goldman Sachs. That's like letting the fox in the hen house.
The immediate removal of Obama is necessary. We cannot wait for an election to come.
Problem is, the political parties pander to the Federal Reserve System to work within our government, and so we never get past that model, that example, that paradigm, as we say. And so it very well could be the start of the Second American Revolution.
So you're here respecting everybody's First Amendment right?
Absolutely, absolutely. If you look around here, the interesting thing, I see half of these activists, we know. We interact with them. They're residents of Austin, and what we want to make sure is that we keep our residents that are exercising their constitutional rights safe. You always get nervous about somebody from the outside trying to come in and cause problems.
So you don't expect any trouble today?
No, not in Austin. Austin, Texas shows, and our activists show how to do things. Right. You don't let your message get lost in your approach. We're peaceful, man. We're about keeping it weird, but most important, we're about keeping it safe. And that's why we're one of the safest cities in the country. I'm really proud of the people out here.
Anything you want to say to Alex Jones?
You tell Alex, I have not seen you. I haven't heard from you. Call me. You called me a communist Cuban the other day, and I want to talk to you about it. See you, Alex.
Thanks, Art. Thanks for implementing unconstitutional blood draw checks for DUI checkpoints and other unconstitutional measures. But of course, the police were allowing the protests to go forward, people to have their First Amendment. But that image you see of the binoculars surveying the public, that's the image of the establishment everywhere in cities all across the country. being very concerned, watching with extreme caution that not only is there an anger against Wall Street and the financial system in general, but that it's beginning to swell around the issue of the Federal Reserve, and it needs to continue to be. So I want to urge you again to embrace the Federal Reserve issue wherever you are and occupy that issue if you're going to occupy anything and participate in that. Now, coming up after the break, we do have Stuart Rhodes, founder of Oath Keepers, on why his organization is joining in the Occupy Wall Street and Occupy Federal Reserve movements. And we also have a never-before-seen second part of the interview with G. Edward Griffin that Alex recorded yesterday and then you saw part one of on the Nightly News last night. So stay tuned for that. We'll be back in just a moment. InfoWars Nightly News.